The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the Wrestling to the Max WWE 205 live review for April 4th, 2017. And I am your host, Sean Garmer, and I am here by myself for this one because I would explain this on the SmackDown live review, but in case you're listening to one and not the other, we last night, normally on Tuesday nights, at least Paul and I, sometimes Gary does as well. A lot of times Gary will just go ahead and watch the shows just in case, because we're all getting to that point where, look, we've done this for 5 years now, and hey, with work and all those other things, we get tired, and especially with me, I had just got done unloading a truck, working a 9-hour shift. I had went and done groceries. I actually didn't get home until like 8:30 in the middle of SmackDown. I passed out after SmackDown was over. I kind of rolled over in the bed, and I was thinking, okay, well, I need to turn it on this to 205 Live, but I'm kind of also falling asleep. I wake up, it's 1 in the morning. Gary's still awake, so I watch 205 Live. I watch Talking Smack, but my internet then goes out, and it wouldn't come back on, so I told Gary just to go to bed. Paul apparently had fallen asleep right about the same time I had because Gary couldn't get a hold of him either. And so, both those guys, they do things on Wednesdays. Gary has church that he does every Wednesday night. He teaches classes there and everything. And so other than the rare time where Gary doesn't go to church, this is why you don't ever see us do NXT right after NXT's over on Wednesdays, is because Gary's not home. And by the time he does get home, like at midnight or so, he still has to watch the show's an hour. Then we'd all have to stay awake till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and that's really not necessary on a day that's not like a regular WTM Part 1 or 2 or whatever, So I'm going to just do this by myself. I did watch this again at like 2 o'clock in the morning, so if I forget something, I apologize, but I'm going to try to just get through this for you guys here, and hopefully we can still have some good conversation, even though I'm, just spouting off about certain things here. So, 205 Live, they decided to start off with the feud that continues to go as Brian Kendrick and Akira Tozawa. There was another lesson here for Tozawa, and so that's how we start off. Brian Kendrick goes to the outside. He stays out there for a while. Tozawa kind of goes after him with kicks and stuff. And this is a really quick, like, 6-minute match or so. It doesn't go very long. Both guys are... Tozawa kind of gets more of the offense with a Hurricane Rana. He hits him with a drop kick. The crowd is really into the Ha chants. They actually start them without him having to really do them, so that's good. Of course, that helps. You have the still that WrestleMania crowd there that's really into him and knows who he is, so they're going along with everything. There's at one point Kendrick does an eye poke to get advantage, and it backfires on him later because Tozawa goes to the top turnbuckle. Kendrick goes and tries to eye poke him again, but then Tozawa actually acts like he has a knee injury and then tricks him and does a roll up, and Tozawa wins. So Tozawa has victory over Kendrick and then makes fun of him for his lessons and actually speaks a little bit of English, so it was actually kind of cool. The crowd popped a bit for the English, and this feud keeps going. The match wasn't much anything. It's I don't mind this feud. Again, like, they have to have things for these guys to do, and there's only so many. There's only an hour here. It's not like they got 2 hours. Hopefully, there's a definitive thing here for Tozawa and Kendrick to finally have a really great match that you remember them for. But for now, this is just a TV show short match to keep the feud going. And here, after this, we have our one. It seemed like more of a debut here than just we're bringing Oney Lorcan in because whatever. This felt like Oney Lorcan's debut. He is taking on Red Swan. These guys have battled in the Evolve before. Oney Lorcan, of course, if you haven't watched him, the former Biff Busick, he's kind of known for being a no. He has he totally just gets at you with the submissions and hard strikes. He's a bald, pale white guy, but he certainly backs it up in what he does in the ring, and he does that right here with Rich Swan. Goes with those uppercuts. They have some nice counters. Swan does this ridiculous lariat that sends, or not Swan. Lorcan does this ridiculous lariat that sends Swan going. And they have, Lorcan hits the submissions a couple times, and they have this great spot where they go up top, and Lorcan looks like he's going to do a half and half suplex off the top rope, but Swan lands right on his feet, but then Lorcan picks up and does a freaking running Alabama slam into the next turnbuckle, and it's awesome. And they kept just trading strikes here. Eventually, Swan gets the upper hand and hits the Phoenix Splash and gets the win, but damn, Oney Lorcan looked awesome here in his debut. Went about almost 7 minutes. A good match. I enjoyed this match. A back and forth action for the two. And, I mean, don't know how much more we're going to get to see Oney Lorcan, but if Drew Gulak, who shows up later, a little bit later to make fun of Mustafa Ali for his flashy moves, if he's going to be doing any kind of as Paul and I have talked about, sort of starting a catch point stable in 205, Oney Lorcan would be perfect for that kind of thing. Of a guy that we have seen him fly before, but these are guys that are going to keep it inside the ring, with strikes and submissions. They're not really out there trying to do flashy stuff, but the way that they do it is also still kind of sort of flashy, so it defeats the purpose. But still, I like the fact that we're doing a little bit of something with Drew Gulak, and I think Oney Lorcan would be great for that. After the match, we do find out that Rich Swan has been the guy that has been giving Alicia Fox all these gifts that Noam Dar has been taking credit for. And, Rich Swan teased it a little bit on before one of their matches that, could Alicia Fox handle this or not. So he's certainly smitten, and he's going after Alicia Fox. Will Noam Dar be able to keep his girl by his side, or will Rich Swan dance his way into her heart? So that will be a continuing storyline, I guess, which, again, I'm fine with this. They need things to do on 205 Live. They need things that sort of keep your interest. You can't just go out there and have matches. Okay, so they got to have things like this to keep it going. The big thing that sort of happened, I'll get to that in a second here, but let's to talk about Neville having a promo, being happy about adding to his legacy, beating Austin Aries. They've made him into royalty here on 205 Live, of course, being the king of the cruiserweights. He says that Austin Aries deserved being hit in the orbital bone, and we see more of that in the match, in the main event, that I'll talk about in a little bit. And, Austin Aries is a clown. Thank you, the 205 roster, for failing, but for also bolstering his reputation. And now he's going to be at ringside for the main event. But before I get to the main event here, I want to say that they used this 205 Live to announce that several of the WWE UK standouts, pretty much the main five that were talked about, Trent Seven and Tyler Bate of Mustache Mountain. The fans kind of did the mustache thing for Trent Seven. They had Tyler Bate come out by himself to do the, since he's UK champion. They also had Mark Andrews, Pete Dunne, and Wolfgang on the ramp to announce that along with 205 Live, they're going to be doing some live events. But there's also officially announced the WWE UK show will be on the network exclusively. So there was talk for a while that maybe they'd have Sky TV try to pick it up and it be a UK sort of only thing. But they're going to go with the network route, which is great, so we can all see it. Of course, this means we have to add another show to the WWE reviews when that starts. Hopefully it's not on Tuesday because, good Lord, we don't need 3 shows to review on Tuesday. At least either have your own day, or I guess they would. Perhaps Main Event will go away and they'll tape this with Raw. Who knows? But I'm sure we'll get more information. Again, maybe Thursday we'll have more info on that to be able to talk about it with the guys, with Gary and Paul. But the only thing, I'm just really happy that we'll get to see them and they'll get to be wrestling on their own show. And they can't do any worse than 205 Live. 205 Live's already set the standard. For a while it took it a bit to get going, but I feel like 205 Live's starting to hit its stride and getting things moving. And this match really shows you that, as you have Austin Aries, Jack Gallagher, T.J. Perkins, and Mustafa Ali in this number 1 contenders match. This was just full of great stuff. You have T.J. Perkins really looked good in this. He got a lot of stuff in by himself. You had Gallagher doing his normal spots, but he got to be fun in the match. Aries looked really good here with and Mustafa Ali also got to shine. Each guy got to shine here. They had a great spot with Perkins doing the knee bar, and then Aries catching Perkins into the last chancery, and then Ali gets in his face and hits the drop kick so that it breaks up the submissions, which was awesome. Of course, this hits Aries in the injured eye, and he has to sell it really well. You get T.J. Perkins then crotching Ali, and there's a big Tower of Doom spot that happens. There's also this other awesome. I think that's the spot with where both guys are. I think it's Perkins holding up somebody, and then Ali comes and hits that neck breaker where he's out of the ring and inside the ring. It was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome spot there for both guys. You get the big Mary Poppins, William III umbrella dive onto everybody by Gallagher, which the fans absolutely loved. There was a "This is awesome" chant for this match as well. Definitely totally deserved. And then Austin Aries eventually wins by hitting the rolling forearm on T.J. Perkins and getting the win. Everybody looked great in this match. This is definitely worth going out of your way to watch. It was only about 11 minutes or so with a couple of those, 30-second commercials thrown in, but definitely you need to go watch this. I enjoyed this. Really good match. Austin Aries, number 1 contender. So he gets his rematch with Neville. I'm glad they didn't go some kind of hokey way to getting to the match. They just had him win this Fatal 4-Way, which you have to imagine at some point they're going to stop doing these Fatal 4-Ways to determine the contenders. They're going to have to do something a little bit more original. We've seen about 3 or 4 of these now to determine the contenders. I get you're trying to get the most people you can on the show, and that's a good way to do it, and you have these kind of chaotic matches where they really get to show their stuff, but let them have a singles match where they really get to prove that one of them really wants to earn that shot. Every once in a while would be nice too, and not just the Fatal 4-Ways. But that's your 205 Live. A show that flew by. You had 2 really good matches with Oney Lorcan and Red Swan, and then your main event with the Fatal 4-Way. Definitely worth watching that Fatal 4-Way. Again, can't stress that enough. Go watch it. It's one of the best matches probably of this week. So that'll do it for me talking 205 Live here. Again, the UK show got officially announced, so we know that's coming. Oney Lorcan debuted, it seems like. And, So again, that main event definitely worth looking at. So until we talk to you again on 205 Live, hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully next time I got Gary and Paul, or Gary or Paul, or both guys here with me when we're talking this show. But yeah, make sure you check out the rest of our reviews. We had our WrestleMania, TakeOver Orlando, Raw, and I did a SmackDown Live review as well by myself. So check all those out. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you like what you hear. Write a review. Give us a star rating on iTunes or what other podcast service you use. That helps us out a lot. Of course, visit WTMnet.com for these podcasts. Not only that, but I think we're going to have that superstar shakeup that's happening. We're going to have an article on that, and we're also going to have our New Japan Sakura Genesis roundtable as well. So you want to make sure you check the site for that, and of course, game reviews, song reviews, and whatever else we're doing on the website. And make sure that you're subscribing to that Wrestling to the Max or WTM Network to hear all of our other wonderful podcasts that either we do or the partners do, which are terrific. Especially that Radlich and Broadcasting, they do great stuff on the entertainment side there. And of course, make sure that you check out our Wrestling to the Max episode 241 Part 2 that we'll be doing on Thursday night, Friday morning on the download for you. ROH Supercard of Honor 11 review, Sakura Genesis preview with Paul and I. Of course, the news, I'm sure we'll have more on the Superstar Shakeup, and of course we'll do our thoughts on the Superstar Shakeup and make some predictions for that as well. So this is the last show that we'll be doing before Raw on Monday. So again, lots for you to check out from us. Hopefully you're enjoying it, and we'll be seeing you around here on Wrestling to the Max.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.